Well, hello and welcome back to the Gough House. If you've been here before, if you're new, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Today I am making some strawberry shortcake and I make an unusual base for it. I don't make the normal sponge cake, so I'm going to show you how I make my strawberry shortcake. Let's get started. The Cake Bible. This is the cookbook that the recipe's coming out of, the almond cake. Now, if you don't have this book and you like to bake cakes, you should get this book. I've had it for years. It's pretty worn. But this almond cake, I actually altered the recipe a little bit. But this is an excellent book. Very good recipes. I just love it. And she's pretty witty. So she's got it's a good story in there about a wedding cake that I absolutely love. Yes, I will read a cookbook from cover to cover. This book happens to be permanently marked with an old calendar from 2010. And this book is older than that. This was just something I found to stick in there at that point. And of course, I mark all my recipes that I love with love. But this is the golden almond cake recipe. You look on here, 2 large eggs, 2/3 cup of sour cream, teaspoon of almond extract, vanilla extract, cake flour, unbleached sliced almonds. Now, the 1/3 cup for this, I actually substitute this with just almond meal. So I use that instead. I don't roast it in the oven. You know, I know it brings out more almond flavor, but I'm already using almond extract. It's very almondy this way, so I just use that. So that's the change that I make to this. So other than that, everything else stays the same. Alright, this is a pretty quick recipe. I have 12 tablespoons of softened butter going in there. Got a cup of granulated sugar. I'm going to beat these two together. I'm going to put a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla in. And 1 teaspoon of almond extract. You want it really almondy. Okay, I'm going to change this out for a paddle. Give her a good scrape down. I'm cracking in 2 eggs, 2 large eggs, room temperature. And by the way, the butter was unsalted. Get that mixed up. To this, I'm going to add 2/3 cup of sour cream, and I kind of do a rounded 2/3, I don't level it off, I round it. Because it's Arizona where I live, and it's dry. Needs a slight bit more moisture, and this works fine for me. But, if you live in humid climate, you'll want to stick to the regular 2/3. Alright, and this is going to be a thick batter for you, just so you know ahead of time. I'm going to start putting in our flours. Here is my 1/3 cup of almond meal. Okay, so I need 1 2/3 cup of cake flour. So I'm just going to put it right in here. You can mix your dry ingredients in a different bowl if you like and then mix them together. I am a lazy baker. I just do it like this and it always works out. And there's my 2/3. Oh yeah, a normal person would probably get a spoon too. 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Okay, I'm going to put my paddle back on and get it mixed in. Okay, that is it. It's a nice thick batter, and this cake is so delicious. I once made a wedding cake out of this. I failed it, of course. But when I made this wedding cake, oddly enough, the whole wedding cake went. And when I brought the wedding cake in, the bride's mother-in-law, the soon-to-be mother-in-law, was upset and said, "Why did you buy such a big cake?" And it's actually my friend. And she says, "Because I wanted it." Anyway, so she was irritated. She thought there would be leftover cake. At the end of the night, people were fighting over pieces of wedding cake. They were cutting the wedding cake, and people were stealing the cake sitting there away from the other people that had set it aside. It was kind of funny. Okay, I have my goop, and I am going to paint my pan. I gotta make some more. It's almost gone. You can spray your pan if you like. I prefer the goop method. Oh, also, this cake you can put into a 9-inch cake pan, or you can do it into a 10-inch cake pan. But I'm going to do this little rectangle. And this is not a 9 by 13, it's an 8 by 11. This just makes it easier for strawberry shortcake to cut it into squares. I could eat this batter plain, like cookie dough. But get it smoothed out as best you can. In the oven it'll kind of smooth down and bake. Okay, I'm going to put this in a 350-degree oven for about 30 minutes. I'm going to check it at 30 minutes. If it's golden on the top and it springs back when I touch it, then I'll pull it out. But this generally takes anywhere from 30 to 40 minutes. We're going to start on the strawberry portion. I have strawberries and they're whole. I'm just going to toss them right in. And I probably have, I don't know, a pound here. Alright, I am going to put in some sugar. Okay. So that's probably 2/3 of a cup of sugar. And then, if I can get this open, I always put white vinegar in my strawberries, or white balsamic, or if I don't have white, then I'll use the regular dark balsamic. But I love the contrast. And this one is a coconut white balsamic. So I collect balsamic vinegars and oils, and I always stop at those stores. I like to use them for different things. So you can use a flavored balsamic if you want to, or you can just use regular. You don't have to. But I'm going to put some of that in, and that's probably a good 2 tablespoons. This is a tiny little bottle. And then I'm just going to use my trusty little cutter. If you don't have one of these, then you can use a potato masher, or you can cut them up by hand, whatever you like to do. As these macerate, I'll try it to make sure that it's sweet enough, which it should be with the 2/3 a cup of sugar in there. But I want to make sure that there's enough vinegar in it because I love that pop of vinegar taste. And I always make strawberry shortcake this way, with my strawberries this way. Of course, I always use the almond cake also. And this cutter, if you remember back in the day, my grandma used to use something like this, and I'm sure it's not the same company. Hers was heavier duty. This is lightweight. This is from Rada. I actually love their knives and their cutting this thing. I use this all summer long for fruits. And when you're canning, this is kind of a lifesaver. If you know, instead of standing there cutting everything up by hand, this thing works great. I used to know, you know, usually people sell them, so you'd have to know a Rata dealer. And I used to have one, and that's when I bought all my stuff. But I don't know if they're still doing it. I'll have to find out. If they are, I'll put their link in the description box below. Okay, that looks good. Oop, got a big chunk of strawberry there. Just stir it up, make sure I got all the huge chunks. Okay. I'm going to let this sit right on my countertop. I'm just going to put a little cover on it and just let it macerate. I don't want it cold. I want it room temperature because that's how I serve it. So I'm just going to stick a plate on it. Okay, my almond cake is out of the oven. I did get it a little bit golden brown because I was busy with my other video, but that's still fine. So delicious. When the kids get here, I will cut it up and serve it, and I will bring you back for that. All right, I am ready to cut this and grab a fork. Mina's going to be our taste tester today. Lucky.
I'm excited.
Yeah, that's probably a huge piece. And our strawberries. You can put whipped cream on this if you like, but we're not doing that today because A, I don't have any, and B, Mina doesn't like it. She's taste testing for us.
That is delicious.
Can you taste my balsamic vinegar in the strawberries?
Yeah.
I do coconut balsamic because it offsets it. The
It's like
sweet.
sweet and tart at the same time. I really like that. And the cake has, what's the...
It's almond.
Almond, okay.
Yep, it's got ground almonds in it.
It's delicious.
And versus just a little sponge cake.
My first thought was amaretto.
So there you have it. You gotta try this recipe. That is it for my strawberry shortcake. Hopefully you try this recipe at home. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. It really helps me out a lot, and I sure do appreciate your support. If you haven't followed me on Instagram, you should. Jeni Gough 18. I'm also on Facebook, and you can always visit my blog for all of my recipes at jenigough.com. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
There you go.